Hello and welcome to this 1v1 game between two players in the top 20. Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game between two players in the Warno top 20. I think Axis is currently like rank 16 and Semper's rank 12 or something like that. We'll see at the end. There's a very high level players and they're on meta divs. 2Y is very popular. Second Panzergrenadier, of course, still in my objectively correct opinion, the best 1v1 division in the game. Just sort of does everything. Pretty crazy div. Anyway, yeah, we're on Ohmen Duel, and I'll show you the decks. Right, so this is Axis's deck for the game. He's playing second Panzergren. We don't usually see him on that. And yeah, I believe this was played after the artillery rework, but there was a hotfix, right, which is probably why it says 47 out of 50. So what was removed? We may never know. It's probably some of the artillery, right? So, yeah, since the hotfix, since the RT rework, things are a bit different now. I mean, M110s are still really good because you just leave them at the back on counter battery. But honestly, I prefer the towed mortars to the self-propelled ones now. And something like this is actually really, really good because it's got the same range, it costs less. If it's going to get counter batteries, you might as well get the cheaper one. So I think that is probably the best way to do it now. The idea is you buy the mortar, you use the mortar, and you make sure you've got one or ideally two, but costs you a lot of points, right? On the back, just sat on counter battery, waiting for them to hit your mortar, and then you blat them with the 155s. But then you've got 1 AP spare, so you have to get even more artillery, and you could get. Not really sure that's a good idea. You could get more mortars because they're gonna die. I mean, it depends if you actually want to smoke, or you could get this, for example, or you could do it like that. But it's a lot of arty. But yeah, two M110s is what you need to snipe a heavy tank. But if you're playing against a good player, they're not going to stand still long enough for you to do that. So this would be more in keeping, and then it's just because you've got 1 AP spare, right? That's why you would get an extra RT piece, and you don't need the smoke because you don't need the third card of supply because these things are expected to die. So something like that, right? In terms of the planes, this is shit compared to the so the IDS cluster and the IDS HE are just really, really good now because they drop from so far away and all this, although they do keep changing it. So those are the ones you want, rather than 50% accuracy missile and this dive bomber that doesn't reliably kill heavy tanks or whatever. The point is that this drops from further away and it reloads in 90 seconds, so with the seed it becomes practically invincible. On the infantry front, shock is 350 meters now, so yeah, these are good, but you want them in the foxes because well, they're going to get there faster, and this is a very useful transport because it's got smoke and so on. No MMG team is a shame. Fallschirmjäger, sure, I mean, with the shock change, but you've got this for the Panzerfaust 3, and these are 3-point slots, and you've only got one card of infantry recon, so I think it's better to get the Jäger Aufklärer so that you've actually got enough infantry recon and you can bring that at 1 vet. I feel like that's a better shout than bringing 2 cards of Panzerfaust 3. The reason why you would prefer this one over the Fallschirmjäger is that this goes at 100 kilometers an hour, whereas the Fallschirmjäger goes at 90. So this can get to places faster at the start, but generally at the higher end, nobody cares about that anymore. Getting there first is not the boon it used to be. Yeah, so Ihawks, Gapard, Zvillinger. For the AA, you will struggle against Apaches. I guess you could just drive this up to them and kill them. And then, yeah, ATGM, Hilo. Like, apart from that, it all looks good, right? Spamming out Leopard 1s. No Jaguar 1 is interesting. For the defense. No Jaguar 1. But yeah, these went up in price, which I'm starting to agree with, frankly. They are the Leopard 1's better against tanks and the T-55's better against infantry. It's just the way it is because the HMG is what does most of the damage. The T-55 can survive like 3. It can survive 5 M72 law shots from the front, whereas this can only survive 3 and units get 4. So it does matter. So it's more survivable against infantry AT, but this has a better gun on it for the price, so his idea, I suppose, is buy Leopard 1s and drive them around in the open. He usually does the same thing every time. I'm surprised people haven't caught on yet. He opens with a bunch of Leopard 1s, and then he just immediately starts buying bombers straight away, and so all you got to do is kind of just sit there and buy AA, and then you can kill him. But I don't know, people, they watch the videos, but they do not learn. Yeah, switching to his opponent, we've got SemperAdamis, who's like rank 10 or something, playing 2Y. So, I mean, second Panzergrenadier is the best div in the game in 1v1. The person who plays it all the time disputes that. I know, shocking. But yeah, so 2Y is weak against early game aggression. For example, like the Leopard 1s are like half the price of those T-72s, and 2 Leopard 1s is going to beat 1 T-72. So that's your weakness, that's your early game weakness. So there are things you can do about it, such as like getting the Razvedka BMP-1. So you've got the Spets Razvedka here for the early game deployment, whatever. So why is this more important than this? Do you see my point? Because you need, at the start of the game, you need like width. So I don't know how else to describe it. You need cheap stuff to plug the holes, right? This is the old way of thinking. You just want to do that now, and then maybe the grad. And then, so like, you use the mortar to pew pew pew, and then these are on counter battery, and then if you're getting really annoyed by enemy artillery, you bring the grad and you kill them with the grad. That's the way it seems to work now. Works for me on the Marine div, but the Marine grad is upvetted, right? So it aims faster. But you can still put a potsock next to this and it'll aim in 15 seconds, roughly. It's like 17 seconds. Whereas this, you know, would have to be at 2 vet and so on. So yeah, it's just the old way of thinking. So yeah, back to the thing about width, right? So you need some BMP-1s somewhere so that you can actually afford the units. And given that you've already got a Razvedka BTR-80 here, you don't really need a second one. I appreciate that they're sappers, but you've got Saperi RPO. So you would want this for the start of the game. And the idea is, you know, it's infantry with an AT, this has mediocre stealth and smoke and 3 armor, so it's really hard to push into. And that's how you get your width in the early game, so that you don't just get overwhelmed in the early game. Now, this thing is great for driving around the sides and being a bellend. They shouldn't have buffed it, but you've got a Razvedka BTR-80, which does something fairly similar, right? It doesn't. The stealth isn't as good, the optics aren't as good, but the speed's lower, but you know it's got more HP and all this. But the point is that it's an opportunity cost problem. This is overpowered, but you need this so that your tanks can see, because it's got exceptional optics, it's got 3 armor so it can tank a hit from an enemy tank most of the time, you know, at max range or what have you. And then you need this so your tanks can see. You can use this, but it has very good optics. This is for sending around the sides. And you've already got something that can be sent around the sides, and your division isn't really designed to be playing wide and sending stuff around the sides anyway. So you need this. This 1 AP is a bit annoying, but basically you can get rid of the grad, right? And just basically you would use this to shoot people and just have 4 of these on counter battery, which you'd slowly buy over time, and they would just shoot at the enemy artillery and suppress the enemy artillery, and then you send one of these around the side to kill them. And in the meantime, you can get more tanks or whatever your heart's content with your 3 AP. Such as... yeah, I mean, you could... I wouldn't bother getting more infantry, I don't think you really need it. Then the tanks are sort of okay, right? There's not too much point in 2 vetting these because the rate of fire doesn't actually go up, because it's an auto-loader. You could get this as well, and just, there you go, now you can go around the sides and be annoying and buy time that way. Or you could get, you know, this for anti-infantry, more anti-infantry, like 5 Osas and 6 Iglas is probably enough. Or you could get, yeah, so you've got this and that and this for the funny opener. So 3 AP, you can spend it on whatever you want. I've given you 3 AP. You can do as you wish. So yeah, you can bring this and go around the sides. Or, honestly, like, might be worth getting a third card of supply, because you're a tank div that wants to go late. So if you're using your tanks all the time, third card of supply would make a lot of sense. It'd make more sense if you had the grad, but then you can't afford the third card of supply, so that's annoying. Or you can get, well, it's an interesting problem. I haven't played this div in a bit, so sort of forgotten how I built it. 3, 5, 7, 9 CVs. So there you go, you could get rid of that. And then, yes, you could get some more infantry if you want. Well, you don't need... What do you need 9 CVs for? But then you can get the grad and the supply. Wow! Yeah, it's just something to think about. Right, you might just want to get more infantry, because then you can 2-vet all this infantry if you've got like a metric shit ton of infantry. Thing is, you don't really need that much on this div. But yeah, this isn't really enough, is it? So yeah, it's probably better to get some more infantry, or you can... Yeah, exactly, yeah. So you can get, like, more tanks, and then, okay, so you can 2-vet these, because now that's 6, and now you've got 6 again. Wow, crazy, and now they're 2-vetted. Although, yes, the rate of fire doesn't go up on any of these, because they're auto-loaded. But the aim time goes up, and the suppression resistance goes up, and they've got a lot of armor, so it can make a lot of sense, actually. Especially when you put something like this next to it, then it's 3-vet, and then you really start messing people up. And then you can get the extra infantry. Sadly, you can't get more cards of these, but you know, you could get that. It's for some early game momentum, so you're not too far behind. At which point you could say, well, I don't need this anymore, but honestly you do, because it's a mediocre stealth that's doing it. At which point you could get 6 rocket helos, but that's not what I used to do. It just wasn't a good idea, really. Anyway, let's cast the game. Right, so with that out of the way, I believe this was played following the Arty rework. I mean, we'll find out when the Arty starts firing. But yeah, there's clearly been... They've not really caught up on the new artillery meta. Apart from that, you know, most of it's fairly standard stuff. So basically, the second Panzergrenadier player, he gets the Leopard once. He wants to attack early and often and prevent his opponent from building up too many mega tanks. Once the front line becomes static and the mega tanks start rolling out, it gets kind of hard to win. So yeah, he's probably going to Leopard 1 blob and just sort of, you know, take Bravo and start working Delta, I guess. Looking at the deployments, we've got the funny opener by the looks of things, so there'll probably be like a fighter and an Su-25 behind this, or it might just be the fighter. And then some Razvedka, Saperi, but like no Razvedka BMP-1s. Like that's a big criticism of the way he's built this deck, actually. He's not brought the Razvedka BMP-1s, which I used to try and play it without, and it's just so not good to do that. Because you're weak in the early game. As to why, you're weak in the early game. That's why a lot of players who aren't very good think it's OP. Because they don't exploit the early game weakness of the div. Or, if they're playing against people of a similar rank, the early game weakness of their div does not get exploited. And then they're like, wow, I won, 40-minute game. Wow, this div's broken. Hippie is wrong. And but it's just because, you know, you're not playing against somebody who can hammer the gap, as it were. Because your units are very expensive, right? This is 210 points. How much is that Leopard 1A5? He's not actually bought any, which is surprising for Axis. I'm sure they'll arrive at some point. You can almost get 2 Leopard 1A5s for this. Or you can get 2 Leopard 1A 1A1s plus a supply or something, so... Yeah, big blob. Coming into Delta, he's expecting to fight in Delta, and he's basically given up on Bravo. Alright. Switching to his opponent, we've got yeah, some Milan 2, forward deployed, Fallschirmjäger. The thing is, right, I hope he's opened fighter, because this helo can just kill his whole deployment, right? Because he doesn't have... I assume he's opened with that F-16 fighter. Honestly, the div wasn't broken before it had that, because it was very exploitable by helos in the early game, but now it's got an early game fighter. It's less so. Less so. Yeah, so forward deployed into mid. His opponent doesn't have airborne forward deployment, so he should get there first, but he has no forward deployed AA, so you have to buy the fighter to make sure these guys don't get picked off. And then he's got forward deployed CVs, which these days are sort of a waste of time. Because they're just so expensive, like 105 points versus 50. So you could literally just buy 3 of these for the price of this. I don't really recommend that, but you would actually get more points from doing that, because this one would cap here at the same time you would have hotel, and then you'd get Bravo faster. I don't really recommend that in this case, but the point of the matter is the forward deployed CV doesn't actually add that much value. Although his opponent has opened 0 CVs because he's one of the best players in the game, so I'm not quite sure why he's done that. Could have got 2 CVs for 80 points, which is this. And as a result, he would get Alpha and, Echo Delta, Alpha, Charlie, Bravo. So yeah, he is going to be really far behind on the points, but that's just because he's bought no CVs, which is very, very strange behavior on this map in particular. So yeah, forward deployment, and then the blob consists of what's Villingers, so he's expecting a bunch of helicopters, Marder 1A3s and Pioneer Carl Gustavs. I think this would have been better off to just be tanks on the Marders, really. And there's Villingers like, what? I suppose that's anti-infantry. Sultan, Mars Villinger. Right, let's cast the game. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners. Generously joiner the channel, they get the names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views. If you're feeling bad about your ad block, it's a great way to support the channel. Otherwise, please just like the video. I have to cough again. This cold went away like 2 weeks ago, but I guess it's because I'm talking into a microphone for like 4 hours a day that it's not really getting better. It's getting better very slowly. But, I didn't sound that good to begin with, so it's all good. So yeah, this thing, I mean, it's in the wrong place, really, but I guess he was expecting to get rushed here. It's a really weird deployment, actually, from both players. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And these guys are in the top 20. So I have to make the point that it's like, don't overthink it. Obviously, if you know somebody's a heli rusher, then buy lots of AA. Like I do against Integer now. But, don't be like, oh, but if he does this, I'll do this, and then he does that, and I'll do that. Because you end up in situations where there's the fighter, Tornado, okay. So, like, terrible micro from this Mi-24K. You expect the Tornado to win that fight. I mean, it costs a lot more. But this has survived as a result of that, so I guess it's worth it. Because this is 1 per card. But yeah, like, he just sort of drove it into it and died, whereas if he'd been back here, he could have still hurt it. But if you drive over it, then you can't align. Honestly, man, I'll show you their ranks. You'll be like, whoa, how are their ranks so high? They're both retarded. So, this Sultan could go in here. But it's not. So, at the start, you just want to Shift Q, Shift F there, and then right-click to there, and then F-click to there. Because if you F-click to here, and you're on the other side, it, like, goes out the zone to get it. Anyway, Mi-24K went down to this Villinger, because he had plenty of time to get it out of there, but I guess he just didn't want to do that. And, yeah, +4 to Axis because he actually bought CVs. Although he's doing a terrible job of, like, this should be in there by now. Forward deployed CV, by the way. So he's smoking for whatever reason. And then there's just, like, a bunch of guys here not doing anything. You got a 2Y playing wide against 2nd Panzergrenadier playing narrow. The latter isn't that big a deal, but like the 2Y player, you want to play for mid and just get into attritional battles, because that's what your div is made for, right? These tanks, they don't have the range. They could be faster, frankly, but the main thing is you don't have long range AA, and your fighters aren't that good. That's the main constraining factor. Your units are expensive, which means you don't want to lose them. And you can't afford to have loads of units everywhere because your units in general cost quite a lot. In general, right? The BRDM2 is cheap and, you know, whatever. And your AA is not long range AA. The Eyehawks your opponents get outranges you. And the fighters you have aren't that good. Which means that if you do decide to do something like this, a bomber can just come and kill you. Now, Axis usually plays around a lot of bombers. I guess he stopped doing that. I'll show you their rank. You won't believe it. You won't believe how many games this guy has on the second Panzer. But yes, losing 6 units to one bomber usually doesn't happen at the high level because you spread out and you unload stuff. So that's really really something. I don't know what to say. So don't worry, it's second Panzergrenadier, so you can lose your whole army about 3 times and still win because you just keep buying these IFVs. Cost more than they used to, but so do everybody else's. 1 second. Alright, yeah, sorry. I had a tournament game and my opponent was late and he was like, I don't want to play. Here's your win. So, great. I like winning. It would have been cooler to play though, but... Nah, to be honest, I like winning. So, over here, I mean, the Pioneers... I guess because of the smoke... The smoke's sort of well done, right? But... Because, yeah, the grenade launcher can't shoot. So, yeah, the Pioneers are going to win. Although, well, actually... And there goes a T-72 OBR-84 because a Panzerfaust 3 just shot it in the side with 21 penetration, which is enough to one-shot 7 armor. And the side armor of the T-72 whatever is 6, I think. I mean, I wanted to click one, but there's one, 6. So there it goes. Yeah, so Red's strategy was just not playing to his divisional advantage. That's the only way I can describe it, really. The execution is not bad, like he's coming all the way around the side, he's trying to cut the reinforcements with the BTR-80 so they can't get in. He has AA, although it's not really going to be able to save this. It's just, his div isn't really built for what he's doing, and he's playing into second Panzergrenadier, which is just always a pain in the arse. Like, the way you beat second Panzergrenadier is you just take trades for like 30 minutes, at which point you might have enough units to win, right? I mean, you can literally like 2-to-1 second Panzergrenadier on KD. That was quite lucky on that MiG-23 though. You wouldn't expect it to be a tornado. Yeah, you can like have a 2-to-1 KD on second versus second Panzergrenadier and still lose because they just keep running at you with Marder 1A3 Milan with a Leopard 1 behind, and then some Eyehawks back here. You know, he does need to buy an Eyehawk, and just put it there, because, you know, the bombers keep coming round and would be useful. But yeah, I think, like, Red's strategy was just really bad. If he was playing 6E, right, the French one, 6E, or even 5E, okay, some more stuff going around the sides too, actually. Wow, every time you click it, it gets closer. Cool. Anyway, it seems to have diminishing returns. This gets one-shot by... So if you notice, he switched off one of the bombs, and then he's going to switch the other one back on. You don't really want to do that with this, because it just doesn't hit anything. And I don't think it hit anything. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell. Anyway, the Eyehawk would one-shot this, so if you put it there, you know, it's going to get it as it comes around here. Tornado, so he's peeling off the right way, right? If you just auto-evac that, it would come over this, and this would get more shots off on him, and he might die. I mean, it's a 3-vet, it would need 2 hits. And it would probably get 3 shots, although the hill might block it on the 3rd one. So... yeah. Narrow div, right? Slow div. You don't want to be doing the epic flank on a slow div. I mean, you can, right? And there's always something to be said for, oh, if you do something that surprises them, X, Y, Z. But generally, like, okay, what's the plan here? I mean, you know you can't, yeah. I guess you'd want to be here, right? Well, anyway. Like, you can do it, and it's like, oh, it's so surprising, but it's like... my enemy ran up to me and repeatedly started punching himself in the face. Whoa, he's so whoa, I'm blown away by this, right? So that was good, and then yeah, leave the building, right, so you don't get shot. Very intelligent. So still +1 to blue, and because his opponent didn't open with the CVs, he's got quite a nice lead now. Still all to play for because 2Y late game, you know, gets the tanks and so on. It's just he's not really got a stable front line at all. Axis, you know, he's got the recon around here now. Milan 2 needs some tanks. I mean, the Marders want range to use the ATGMs and so on. Like, you've got infantry. Maybe one Marder, right? But you need the Leopard 1s because you know, they just pop out and shoot and they can take a hit, whereas this, it goes, and then you got to watch this thing slowly go towards the enemy, and, you know, maybe you hit him, right, you're high-vetted and all this, but this is just going to one-tap you, and depending on the range, right? Is he going to unload him this time, or is he going to wait for the bomber to kill him again? So, it looks like this has got away with it. Although once it kills something, obviously, the thing is, will it even... Because it's going to aim, but then they're just immediately going to go out the thing, and he's actually switched off the weapon as we speak. So, yeah, it's just not a good spot, actually. Not sure where you... I suppose there would be better. Well, and then you're too close. Like, up here is nice, actually, because, yeah, you shoot him here. Well, you could have used that, but it's just on auto-fire, right? So yeah, we get nice and close and just hope the enemy doesn't have an AT here. And, you know, he doesn't, so great. Oh, here comes the bomber again. Well, second time lucky. Will he unload this time? It didn't drop, and Tornado should probably kill that. Yeah, there you go. And if the Tornado dies now, it doesn't really matter. But yes, Axis needs an Eyehawk. There, so that's what he had in the deck. Because, you know, it bugged out, right? Basically, these don't have the vet anymore since the patch, and so... I believe this was played before the RT rework. Because, yeah, they lost their vet in the RT rework, so... Generally, these days, it's about buying the lighter artillery pieces than the heavy ones in 1v1. Like, you can buy the 203s and have them at the back and hope you don't get counter-batteried and all this, right? But... it's just, it tends to be more efficient to buy the small caliber ones now, because they're like 4 per card, and you basically just put them on counter battery with like a mortar to bait or whatever. So the Gepard evacs that, but like, I mean, there's still... So, you know, planes fly over me all game, but I don't buy an Eyehawk. This happens multiple games in a row, but I don't buy an Eyehawk. I mean, why not, right? One Eyehawk there. You've got the CV for it, you've got the supply for it. And that would be dead. Immediate payment. That's very exciting. Thought danger close, whatever. And I could have just bought an ATGM helo for that, but you know, if the RT's there, and this is pre-RT rework, so you're not exposing yourself. Like you are immune to counter battery, basically, unless you forget to move it. So, yeah, so I do like the smoke. I mean, obviously these days this isn't as easy to do because your opponent's just going to buy a bunch of light howitzers and immediately kill this, but then this would be on counter battery and it would kill the light howitzers, and then you get another smoke mortar. So there is... honestly, I like the RT rework. Overall, the reception's been positive. Like, we've done some polls on the channel. It was like 70% positive. Either like slightly positive or very positive or somewhat positive or mostly positive, something like that. So yeah, it is good. It's just people don't like change, and you know, that there are some things which are worse, right? It's not perfect, but it's a lot better than what we had, which is where, you know, what, 2/3 of the artillery in the game is a complete waste of time and you never bring it. Whoa. Whoa, you know, I'm immune to counter battery, but we've had some people quit the game because of it, and it's like, good, please don't come back. Keep watching my videos though. Anyway, so we got some more Marders here, but like, so how are you going to kill these? Right, ask yourself, how are you going to kill this? You're going to kill it with just, what, shooting Milan 1s at it and doing 1 damage per shot, and Right, you need leopards. Right, the leopard 2, yes. I'll probably one-shot this at that range. Yes. And, yeah, like, these are not helping you. The infantry is nice to have. So I got 16 armor. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah, it's not the ERA one. The BV has the ERA, okay. But yeah, this should survive. Well, it missed anyway, but it says 18. But yeah, this isn't as good as the cluster thing, really, because the cluster thing drops from further away, although maybe that's changed. Yeah, but yeah, there's no... Well, there's the OSA. But yeah, you need another OSA here. But like, imagine if this had all happened at the start as opposed to after losing most of your guys. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot to be said from just executing your division on what it's supposed to be. I understand that it's like, oh, well, it's predictable. Yeah, well, look, you know, you can lose predictably if you want. Oh, I'm so unpredictable. I've lost. I'm so surprised, you know. These should just be on move orders, not attack move, because they keep losing vision, but... So it looks like the Marders are coming over here now. And yeah, 2Y just doesn't have the width, especially when you've not got any BMP1s. You've only got BMP2s. So it's like, this is a 105-point combination. This is a 90-point combination. And you might be like, well, you know, 15 points doesn't matter. I mean, I'm pretty sure he can buy 3 of these a minute, given that we keep seeing them in 3s. 90, 80, 270. So, just about. Like, you can't do it every minute, but in the meantime, 3 of these is 315 points, which is, you know, you're definitely not doing that every minute. So you just end up getting outmassed. And in the early game, that matters a lot. Or if you have an extremely high attrition rate, which is what's happened here, then yes, that matters a lot. So you just gotta play it slow. But he's, because of the mistake at the start, like he's now doing the right thing, but he's lost so much. And all Axis has to do really is just sort of keep running at him, don't let him stabilize. Does need to sort this out. Get a recon helo and buy that bomber, right, and just start killing these. Although with the hill, it really messes it up. Since this is before the patch, so it's different, but since the patch, it doesn't really mess it up anymore because they drop from a lot higher. Like, they come up and go down, and they drop from high. So, but before it was like the hill, they just sort of dive and not drop the bomb. It's very annoying. So we got some Marders, right? But like, you know, this isn't going to work. He just watched a Marder 1A3 die here to that tank, and then he sent in the other one. But yeah, sniping the OSAs is always a good idea. They're not actually as fast as people think, and they're very easy to kill because they've got less than 1 top armor, so the artillery really messes them up. And if you snipe the OSAs, then you can snipe the tanks, so you should always prioritize, unless there's like, oh, there's only a minute left and the CV's coming into the zone, and I gotta, you know, you almost always want to prioritize killing enemy anti-air and just play late. Like, if you've got a plane and there's a tank or an anti-air that literally costs half as much, you kill the anti-air with the plane, because the anti-air can shoot back, the tank can't, so the tank can wait, right? If you kill the anti-air, then you get another bombing run. Whereas if you kill the tank, you might not get another bombing run. So, and imagine if there was an Eyehawk back here. Just one Eyehawk, that'd be dead. The MiG-29 from before would be dead. Like, the only one of these would be left. In fact, I think both of them might have died, because, you know, lots of things have been flying over here. So, and if that had happened, then that Tornado IDS would still be alive, as would that F-16. So, buying the Eyehawk, not only has it cost you 2 kills, it's also cost you 2 deaths, thus taking the effective price of not buying the Eyehawk to about 1,000 points. Or 4 minutes income for 4 planes, roughly. Right? Or you could have spent that 100 points and not lost, you know, that's like 10x, basically. And the mistakes will keep piling up until he buys the Eyehawk, which he's never going to buy. So, Oh wow, there now he's bought 2. So generally it's a case of you know you want the things before you need them. It just comes down to practice, really. And yeah, it's always useful to just have one bow bar at the back. At the very least, it'll bait fighters into your Eyehawk. But yeah, you see, you know, it's shooting stuff, they have to go back, right? Can be very, because it's only 65 points, the amount of value you get out of that is very high. So yeah, Red, I'm not really sure what the plan is here. I mean, he's just so far behind at this point. He really made his mistakes at the start. If there was an Eyehawk here, this would die now. Oh, did you notice it didn't drop? Yeah, yeah. So since the patch, that would now drop. And it's something to do with the hill. It's something to do with the hill. So he gets saved by the hill there. So that's not the first time we've seen that happen. Probably want to land this now. I mean, people are shooting at it. But yeah, blue needs more tanks here because, you know, the Marders aren't really... they're just dying to the tanks. And, you know, you probably want an ATGM in here. Obviously not right now. There's something happening. So yeah, the only thing that can really fight back here are the tanks. And then, you know, the tanks are all sat here in case somebody comes in. You'd really only need one there. And the other one can move up. And like, you can't do anything about this at all. Although, you know, the AA is dead. So I assume that Tornado IDS is going to come back. I mean, you know, obviously the Igloo, but... So yeah, lots of infantry... No grenade launchers. His control on the Leopard 2 is pretty good. Although you don't want to right-click because... I mean, that time it worked, but sometimes it, like, doesn't stop. It's really weird. So yeah, he's going to try again. And look, it just doesn't drop. We just keep seeing that happen. I believe it's fixed now. But yeah, that's just... It's because of the hill. It sort of calculates that it can't do... What he needs to do is come over here... and then right-click it, and then, because there's no hill here, right, it'll come in, drop it, and come out, but the issue, of course, is there should be an Eyehawk here, and that would expose you over the Eyehawk, and then you'd almost certainly die. But, you know, 240, 270, 2 per card, so... So, yeah, the smoke, right, the smoke is working. Like, what's the plan here? This guy's one of the best players in the game. I don't understand what he's doing. So, the smoke means that the T-72s can't shoot, so what you do is you buy an RT piece and you kill these, which is very easy to do now, given the changes, but this was before the changes, so these should be moving after every shot, which they are doing, so... More or less. Because, yeah, most of the guys, they're not really shooting. Like, he doesn't have a CV... But yeah, if only, like, because if he hadn't attacked here, this army would be twice as big. And then he'd have all this, basically, do you know what I mean? So, do you remember when I said, like, I don't watch these ahead of time, but as you can see, he baited the fighter into the bow par. Now, the Eyehawks missed, but usually that wouldn't happen. So, these need to move now. But, you know, your opponent is not arty-pilled. And yeah, I've noticed a lot less of this happening with the double M10s just sniping a tank every minute. That doesn't seem to happen as much anymore in 1v1 because they're hard to afford. People prefer the lighter guns now. Use a mortar to bait enemy counter battery with a bunch of light guns, or, you know, all the heavy ones just sat there on counter battery, waiting to get, you know, waiting to kill the thing. And then, you know, they might have some guns hidden as well, waiting to snipe your counter battery. It's like, it's actually interesting, but nah, people just want to win, therefore bad, right? And if you don't agree, you're not a good player. So... He saw what happened last time, and he's like, you know what, I really want to fly over those Eyehawks again. I was supposed to die, but I didn't. Gotta make it fair. Gotta make it fair. What? The fuck is he doing? I need to lose this game. Throw order received. Fly into the Eyehawks one at a time. Maybe they won't hit me. If it had been a little bit tighter, right? Like, as in, like, really tight, so the first round comes on the MiG-29 and the bombers are right behind it and kill that, then yes, he would have killed them, but that obviously did not work, right? And his opponent's not even moving them. So the blob is, you know, it's certainly there. His opponent really likes buying Marder 1A3s and dying to these, though. You know, I dealt 1 damage award. I dealt 1 damage to the enemy tank award, right? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said for how absolutely retarded Second Panzer is, that you can just buy Marder 1A3s and you can still get a long way with just completely the wrong tool. Because just the amount of value you get out of that combination is because it's got 5 armor, it doesn't usually get 1 shot. Depends on the range. And then you get these, which should really be 40 points. Because, so it's 40 points for arm rifles, which are, or even motor strelky, which are 7 guys, right? But the DMR is like 2 machine guns. And the rocket launcher's better than you'll find on motor strelky or on arm rifles, right? So they're very, very cost efficient at 35. Marder 1A3 costs a lot more than it used to. Most IFVs do now, and so it's become more about tanks, less about IFVs. The blobs are now higher in tanks and lower in IFVs, so as you can see, the T-80Us are just deleting the enemy tanks, right? The Fallschirmjäger Aufklärer, I guess, wasn't really in the right place. It could have shot the T-80U, but it only has 1 HP, so if he reveals it, it dies. So I can understand his hesitation. And, yeah, Red, I don't know, it just doesn't want to buy any recon. Oh, he's still attacking here. But yeah, it was just a poor strategy from Red. I mean, as you can see, when he plays the attritional game, he's winning. And so if he had just done that from the start, then he would have won. But instead he's like, I'm coming round here. Oh no, I died. Well, some people, you gotta let them touch the fire to know that it's hot. So we got some more Marder 1A3s, right? We want to deal 1 more damage to the T-80U. Keep in mind that the BMP-2 one-shots the Marder 1A3, and the reverse is not true. So yeah, he's aiming for the CV, right? Oh no, he gets the... How can he... Oh, this is in a good spot, actually, yeah. So he just killed 2 of the tanks, and those things are really expensive, so... That's a really big issue, if you're Red. Just too far behind. Too far behind. And yeah, like, he's actually buying tanks now, and they're fighting back. Although mainly it was because of the RT killing the enemy tanks, so there's, you know, there was only 1 tank left, and 2 tanks beats 1 tank, and so on and so on. So yeah, Blue could do with some recon as well. I appreciate this is here, but... and this is here, and this is here, but... He needs something in here, basically. Jäger Aufklärer or whatever, but as you know from his deck review, he's only got 1 card of infantry recon, which is a big mistake. And we spoke about how to fix that. So, this has actually run out of bullets. And yeah, the Leopard ones were brought over, right? Surprised he's not bought that bomber yet. Yeah, so you know, just play to your strengths. Play to your strengths. If you're a division that's better at the late game, don't do an early game rush. Because even if you're super duper high level, as both of these players are, you know, it's a suboptimal strategy for a reason, right? So don't overthink it. So this is Axis, rank 16, and he plays NATO. This is SemperAdamis, and he's rank 14. And he plays mainly NATO as well, but, you know, he's got some pack games. Yeah, I'm currently, like, rank 4 or something. I don't know. I'm not the 4th best player in the game. It's just that's just the way it is. Depends who you get matched against and all this. So yeah, I mean things have certainly changed since the rework, but not really that much. The Leopard ones are a little bit more expensive now. But yes, that was like completely unforgivable. And then just like not buying the Eyehawk for like 20, 30 minutes, just letting all the planes fly over you. That's something you want to buy like within the first couple of minutes. And then just too many Arders, not enough tanks, and no second card of infantry recon. And his opponent, the mistake he made was, I'm gonna pretend this division is 4th March and I lost. Anyway, have a lovely day.